So Dad made Kraft mac and cheese with hamburger meat again, which is always going to be a bit of a favorite. Of Dad's cooking, along with steak with au gratin potatoes. My dad's a mailman, and he got some gifts from the people he delivers to. Another box of chocolates, a $50 bill, a $5 bill. I have no idea what Harken means. I have no idea who Neodal is. I suppose this is the new Temple Master. Advanced tools 8 times. That would have been nothing, I think, roughly a fortnight or so ago, but recently I made a transition from producing advanced tools to producing bread. It's not that much more intensive to go from collecting supplies every 3 hours to collecting them every hour. But it's a lot more intensive if I were to go from collecting them every hour to every 15 minutes. That's a huge difference. Ultimately, I want to complete that task. Right now, I'm in a bit of a pickle in regards to the Winter Magic event. I recently got continued opening key slots, even though I had already gotten the daily exclusive, because I wanted to evolve my Watchful Owl after I had collected from it. Since it's a daily production, meaning it's once every 24 hours. I also played some Bloons Tower Defense 6, although I'm wondering if there is a point in which I'll be able to deploy 2 heroes. As what seemed to be implied by the description of the final monkey knowledge upgrade within the heroes branch. Something along the lines of monkeys stronger together, and the description stating that all heroes gain 5% more experience for each hero that is placed, implying there is a point in which I can place multiple different heroes within our same game. Today I dipped into playing intermediate tracks, and while they are noticeably more difficult, they are still manageable. I also tried out the primary only mode, along with deflation mode, where it turns out you get a lump sum of cash to start you off at wave 31, or as they call it, round 31. And then you can't earn any more cash. And I had to get to round 60. I had to beat round 60. But I wasn't able to do that because the lump sum I was given was $20,000. So even if I had thought to get an Apache attack helicopter, at best, that's all I would have been able to place. I ended up placing down a variety of towers. A basic super monkey, a spike tower, a druid, a monkey wizard, I believe, a tech shooter that I upgraded to at least white hot tags. Ultimately, though, I wasn't able to complete the challenge. This is one of the new cultural buildings I unlocked, called Nature's Blessing. And that main hall upgrade I started the other day, completed some time ago. I'm currently tunneling through the scene in which I've decided the Uber driver ultimately ends up getting shot after pulling out from one of his pockets what I decided was a pretty cool looking revolver. These are the current plans I have for the 99th Dan Hamming. Also, it turns out I'm going to get an A minus for my politics of geography class. After factoring in the grade I got on the final, it turns out I have a weighted total of roughly 91% of the final grade in the course. So, it's within the range of 93 to 90 for an A minus, so that seems to be the grade I'm ultimately going to get. Combined with the B plus in American political thought and the B and A I'm assuming I'm going to get in my intermediate Spanish 1 class and criminal law class, respectively, I'll be able to make the dean's list this semester, although it's ultimately better to have a passion to learn than to worry about grades ultimately, in a sort of sense. The pickle I'm currently in regards to Winter Magic, I only have one pet food. If I had two, I would be awfully tempted to just sort of kind of waste it, in that it wouldn't really be using it to its full potential so I can complete this task, but instead I'm currently at this sort of spot, and I ultimately have to complete this research, but I still have a bit of a ways to go before I can complete it, even though I've gotten the goods I ultimately need to pay off the activation costs through some trading with other players. And I tried to speed it up a bit by completing a province, it being on a medium difficulty. Ultimately, I was able to win some of the battles through direct combat, but ultimately, on the encounters with less mage squads, I ended up deciding to negotiate after when I perceived during an attempt at direct combat that I was on the losing end. And in order to complete the negotiations, I made some costly trades with the wholesaler. Though the wholesaler can be pretty good, it's a good way of getting rid of excess coins and supplies, ultimately.
It's simple. You just cook it and boil it and put butter and milk and cheese and add the package and all that good stuff.
What cheese did you add?
Wegmans cheddar cheese.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Yep.
My dad came with the first helping. I was playing Blues Tower Defense 6, engaged in a standard game on easy mode with an intermediate map. I believe I picked a map that was more water than land, so I could use the Buccaneer ship of the submarine monkey towers so I could gain experience for them. Plus that track, I think it was called, I remember it being called Snake Island. It was a simple, straightforward, curved, singular path. And the second time, I was working on the 99th Dan Hamming. I'm at the part right before.
You probably want this, right? Just a little left. There you go. Give me your plate.
Okay.
That is all the mac and cheese. You're not going to have any for tomorrow. Here, scrape that off.
Okay.
All right.
You still have cans of soup.
Well, I got sandwich meat.
At around 3:30 p.m., I had, while walking into the living room, I noticed there was a package of 2 Wegmans fruit day dishes. And somebody called my dad to tell him about what I had found, what I discovered. And I asked if I could have one of the fruit day dishes, and he said yes. And I picked the lemon one because it looked bigger than the cherry one to me. And I ate it here on the bed. I think on this plank of wood. It was pretty tasty. I think I believe I prepared a bowl of hearty chicken noodle, Wegmans brand, using a bowl similar to this, covering with a plastic lid, microwaving for 3 minutes 30 seconds. That's the midpoint between 3 minutes and 4 minutes. It ended up being pretty good soup, although the spoon did fall into the soup a few times. And so I ended up having to retrieve it. And putting my fingers into the pretty hot soup broth wasn't exactly pleasant. And the first time that happened inadvertently, I rinsed the affected fingers off at the bathroom sink. I think I had the soup somewhere between 11 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. Dad prepared some sandwiches for me, which I believe I had somewhere between 11 and noon. I recall when I woke up at roughly 6 in the morning. From 6 to 7 in the morning, I was pretty confused, but Dad made me some coffee before he had to head off to work. No building for the daily exclusive today. So I should have enough time to ultimately complete, this task. Meanwhile, I can use the time to try to upgrade this steel manufactory. Or perhaps I could build an elixir manufactory and complete one of the tasks I currently have on the side. Let's see, can I do that? I have the population for it, but I don't currently have the space for it because I decided to upgrade one of my residences to basically tier 3, where it's a 3x3. Yeah. Perhaps it is ultimately doable, though, with some rearrangements. Okay, I can move this over here, and then we move this here. Oftentimes when I rearrange buildings like this, it takes me a lot longer to ultimately do it, to reach a successful conclusion like this. And if ultimately this will help me to, should I get a task like that again, complete the produce X number of basic, crafted, or magical goods of your choice tasks. If I get a task like that again, this will help me to complete it faster, ultimately. Because for goods, the shortest production cycles you can do are 3-hour ones. I just noticed this about the Klondike bars. It says, what would you do for a Klondike? And then it has supposedly some goofy thing on the other side. Attend your high school reunion wearing your old prom outfit. And earlier I specifically asked if I could choose 2 chocolates from the first box that had been gifted to Dad. If I could choose 2 to go with the Klondike, and he said yes. And these are the 2 I ultimately picked. Although I believe Dad has a tendency to keep at least a box of chocolates I've been picking from within the freezer unit within his fridge. And also, today I downloaded some of Doom the Wolf's interactive expansion Flash animations in an effort to preserve them. In between me finishing the second helping of mac and beef, and Dad coming with the Klondike, I was able to finish my last easy standard mode and an intermediate. Oh wait. I actually wasn't able to finish it, but I was able to get some pretty good progress in. I have a tendency to, when I win, which historically has been pretty much every time, I have a tendency to always go on via the free play mode. Though something tells me that in free play mode, towers earn significantly less experience. I just have a gut feeling on that. I don't think there's any penalty in regards to me earning profile experience, though. Which I think is the primary method on how I'm going to earn monkey knowledge points. And that leads to some pretty good permanent upgrades. But they're not applicable when chimps mode, but so far I'm nowhere near that point.